Hi, I'm Lisa and welcome to my channel, The Southern Seamstress. I hope everyone's been doing well since my last video. I hope you've been able to get some sewing done and that you're starting to enjoy some nice fall weather. Here in Arkansas, the temperatures have dropped in the 80s and sometimes even the 70s, and I've really been enjoying spending some time outside. I have been having some technical difficulties today, so if the lighting on my video looks a little wonky, I apologize for that. I usually do a little test footage and then look at it in my computer, but just a few minutes ago my screen on my monitor started falling forward. There's a little cable inside that caught it. Anyway, I stuck it back on, but now my screen's not working. My monitor screen's not working. So I'm waiting for my daughter, who's really good with computers, to come over and hopefully fix it, because I do not want to mess with any computer cables. So I thought I'd just go ahead and record while I'm waiting on her. So I'm hoping that the video is neither too bright nor too dark. Since my last video, I have gotten a couple of new tops made. The first one is my last summer make for the year, and the second one is my first fall make. But first I'll just start out by what I'm wearing, and this is the Gym Tee by Style Art Patterns. I made this a few months ago and I have really enjoyed wearing it. I think because of the dark colors, I'll be able to wear this t-shirt into the fall. I have a little burgundy cardigan that matches perfectly with it, so I can always wear it over it if it gets a little chilly. So my last summer make for the year is this pretty little blouse by Seamwork, and it's their Romie blouse. This blouse comes in both misses and curvy sizes. The misses goes from 00 to 18, which is a bust of 32 to 45 inches, and the curvy version goes from size 12 to 30 with a bust size of 40 to 60 inches. So this pattern is quite inclusive in size range. Seamwork patterns are drafted for a height of 5'8.5" with a C cup. Now I've made one other Seamwork top, and that was the kit top. And when I made it, I probably should have done a small bust adjustment because I'm only a B cup and they're drafted for a C, but at the time I wasn't really thinking about it. And the top is fine on me, but it probably does have a little bit of extra room in the bust area that if I'd done a small bust adjustment, it probably would have fit even better. This pattern works best with a lightweight woven fabric. The fabric I used is a rayon challis from Minerva that I got this summer. For this top, I did decide to go for the small bust adjustment, which would take it from a C to a B. And they do have instructions on their website for this, just like written out, and some diagrams. There's also several good videos on how to do this. And before I did mine, I watched one from Lucy on Sew Essential. And basically she did exactly what the Seamwork website instructed. So here's the front of the blouse pattern. And when you do the small bust adjustment, basically, I won't get real technical, but you're going to create a new bust point, and you kind of go by where your bust apex is. And then you draw a line straight down, and then you're going to also draw a line from the bust apex diagonally over here to the sleeve edge. So you're going to cut a line all the way from the bottom up to the bust apex, and then this diagonal line is also going to be cut, but you are going to leave a little bit uncut on the edge. And then for each cup size that you're going to decrease, you're going to go over this way a ½ inch. So you're just going to take this section and then overlap this bottom section by a ½ inch. And then this doesn't, get overlapped like that. It's mostly down here, and then you kind of smooth it out up here. So when you do that, it's going to make this side longer, and you would just trim it to match up. Now, if you think that's going to make the width too narrow, then you can add that ½ inch back over on this area that you took it off from, and that's what I did. Because this blouse has some ease in it, but it's not like super blousy. Also, I did a adjustment on the dart. I brought the bust dart, made it a ½ inch lower. So that's the adjustments I made. Plus, I did make the top 1 inch shorter. Even though it's drafted for someone 5'8½" and I'm only 5'2", it didn't really seem like that long of a top. And on the model, it shows the top stuffed in, but I think she's just barely got it stuffed in because you can tell that this is not extremely long. It's an inch shorter, and it just comes like mid-hip right here. So Seamwork has really good instructions and diagrams for their patterns. And I will say, for the very beginning of this construction, I was really enjoying making the top. You start out mostly with the little rounded collar. So I put it together, and this fabric was pretty nice to work with. It did shift a little bit, but it stitched really well and it pressed really well. And so it's got a little top stitching around the edge of the collar, and then you would make your shoulder seams. But then the next part is when I started having some problems. These little straps right here are tubes, and they are supposed to be only 1/4 of an inch wide. You start out with a little strip that's 1 inch wide, then you fold it in half, so that's a ½ inch, and then you make a 1/4 inch seam, which would only be leave a 1/4 inch for the tube. So it said to use a bodkin or a safety pin. Well, I didn't have a safety pin that was small enough, and I didn't have that they call the bodkin. So this is my first attempt at a strap. You can tell it's very skinny. And one end is closed because this end down here is stitched together. But I couldn't get a safety pin up it. So I was trying to take a needle and thread, but that wasn't working. And then on different videos I've seen where you have the little plastic tube that you insert, and it has a little rod that goes through it. And I didn't have any of those, but I thought, you know, that would probably be handy to have. So I ordered this little set of 3 on Amazon. And one of them is pretty skinny. It also had a little bodkin thing in it that you can use to poke things out or run elastic or even do these little tubes. So I just went on to other projects while I had to wait a couple of days to get that in. But I took the smallest tube, but I couldn't get it into the 1/4 inch opening. So what I wound up doing was I just made new straps, and I made them twice as wide. So instead of my straps being a 1/4 inch, they're a ½ inch. And I was able to use the little rod and tube with a ½ inch. And I think they look okay. I think really skinny little tubes would have been cute too. But I think these aren't so wide that they look bad. And I think I made them like another inch or so longer too, because the original ones were pretty short. But I really don't like bows tied around my neck, so I probably won't even be tying the ties. And if I make it again, I probably will just leave the ties off. So that was my first little hiccup with making this top. Now my second problem came with putting the front facing on the front. So there's a seam right here. So you stitch it up, and it has a certain point that you stop, a circle, and then you clip to the circle. So it did that, and then it has, here's the front facing piece. And I also did one more adjustment. I brought the bottom of this V up 1 inch, because since it was made for a tall person, I thought it might come too low on me. So I did raise that up, and I did the same adjustment on the facing. So it's got where you sew it up, and then you stop at the circle, and then you clip it. Well, when I've done that before, you usually put it on there together, and then you sew to that dot. You sew to where you clipped, right? But on their diagram, they were sewing the seam past where it was clipped, like down here. And then up here, I mean, that's what it looked like to me, but there's no way that when I turned that, it wouldn't be all puckered up. I mean, it would not lay flat. And I looked at it several times, and maybe there's a video with someone making the top. I didn't really look, but I just couldn't get it to work the way they had it. So what I did was just, go down to the point and then seam up. So it looks just like the picture on the model. The only thing I'm concerned about is if I wash it very much, I'm afraid that this might ravel out because it is clipped exactly to this point. So I need to remember to be very careful. Maybe I can hand wash it and it won't have any problems. So I'd really like to hear from you if you've made this top before. If you could let me know what I was doing wrong or how you did your facing right here. I'd really like to hear, because I'd really like to do it the correct way, but I just couldn't quite figure it out. So when you attach that facing, it's also attached to a back facing, and then that you sandwich your little collar in between. I did also have a little problems getting these straps to just lay in the correct spot, because I guess because of the soft fabric, they kept kind of moving around. But I wanted them to land up right at the top, but right above the collar. But it was a little tricky because this seam was 5/8 of an inch, and then this seam was 3/8 of an inch, and I don't know, I just had to keep redoing it a couple of times, but I think it turned out okay now. So after I got the neck facing and front facing finally looking decent, the rest of the blouse was fairly easy. You're going to gather your sleeve tops and you're going to gather at the bottom. And I've noticed on Seamwork patterns, they always have you do 3 gathering lines in front of 2, and I do like doing that. It seems like it kind of evens out the gathers better. This blouse has a little band on the bottom instead of elastic. I think you probably could maybe lengthen your sleeve a little bit longer and do a casing for elastic if you like that look better. But I do like this band. It's got plenty of room. It's not tight on my arm or anything. So I really do like the finished look of the Romie top. And I think I will wear it quite a bit next spring when the weather starts warming up again. And I would suggest, if you're on the medium to tall size, that you might want to add a couple inches, especially if you want to tuck in the blouse. So now I want to share my first fall make, and that is the Ellis Knit Tee by Stylark Patterns. Now I think it was about a week ago that Stylark was having a sale where you could buy 2 patterns and get 1 free, which made each of the patterns like 33% off. And that's the best sale that I've seen. Normally, they're maybe 20 to 25% off, and then on the weekends they'll have a certain one that's 30% off, but I've never seen them 33% off. So I decided that I would go through their collection and pick out 3 that I didn't have that I really liked. So one of them was this t-shirt pattern, and I'll try to remember to share the other 2 at the end of the video. Now Stylark has several different t-shirt patterns. There's probably at least 3 or 4 just t-shirt patterns, and they look pretty similar when you're just looking at them online, but they all have slight variations to them. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I'm wearing today Stylark's Gym Tee. Now, looking at their sizes, if I go strictly by my measurements, I usually fall in a size 8. But sometimes their patterns are very oversized and I'll go down to a 6. Usually I will look at their reviews online to see what people say about the fit, whether they suggest sizing down or they say it's true to size. Now on the Gym Tee, people usually said it was true to size, and I think 1 or 2 might have said that it was actually more fitted than it looked on their website. So I wanted to wear this today so that we could kind of compare the Gym Tee with the Ellis Tee. So this one is slightly fitted through the bust, but it has easing through the waist, and it's not real tight on the hips. There's also room there. I think this pattern just comes with short sleeve version, and then it has sort of a crew neck. Now this tee is made out of a visco spandex jersey, so it naturally has more flow and drape than a cotton jersey. So let's get back to the Ellis Tee. So when I looked at the reviews, people said that it was true to size. No one said it was oversized. Some people said it was slightly more fitted than what the picture showed. So if you look at the picture, it does look like it has, you know, a little bit of bagginess, roominess, not super baggy. It looks like it has a more ease to it than the gym tee, because the gym tee, I think it's got more fitted shoulders and upper area right here. Now this fabric is a cotton jersey from Stone Mountain and Daughter, and I just love the print and colors of this fabric. And originally I had meant to make a short sleeve t-shirt. So when I was ordering, I only ordered 1.25 yards. But then it got closer to fall, and I thought these darker colors would look good in the fall, so I really wanted to make a long sleeve top. Now I think I forgot to mention that this is a really versatile pattern because it comes with a long sleeve pattern, a regular short sleeve, but also a cap sleeve. And it has 3 different necklines. It has this kind of rounded crew, and it has a V-neck, and also has a boat neck version. So if you're looking for a very versatile t-shirt pattern, this might be the one for you. So because it wasn't oversized, I just went by my measurements, which was a size 8. So this is a size 8. I did take out 2 inches off the length because it was fairly long. And I think I took 1.5 inches off of the sleeves, which I could have taken a full 2 inches and they would have been fine too. But I'd rather have my sleeves a little bit long rather than a little short. And sometimes t-shirt fabric will tend to shrink up a little bit, especially if you're like me and you throw it in the dryer. So I got the front and the back cut out, and I really took my time trying to make sure the stripes matched on the sides, and I think they turned out really good. So when I got ready to do the sleeves, I had a pretty big scrap left over, but it wasn't enough to do the sleeves horizontal like this, because the grain line, I think, is going like this. I may have had enough fabric to do the cap sleeve, but even if I had done the cap sleeves, there wasn't enough fabric to mess with that I would have been able to match the stripes going across here to the sleeve. But fortunately, the fabric is very wide, and it's also very stretchy. It's almost as stretchy, I think, vertically as it is horizontally, which meant that the sleeve could pretty much go in either direction and still work. So I laid the sleeve the other direction, and I think it turned out really cute this way. I laid it so that this floral section would be at the center of each sleeve. And I'm really pleased how it came out. Also, I had bought some ribbing off of an Etsy seller last year in several different colors. And one of the colors I happened to have was this hot pink. So I thought it would be cute to put the solid ribbed hot pink neckband rather than the fabric neckband. Although Style Art patterns are known for not having real detailed instructions, if you've made a t-shirt before, you won't have any problems making this top. It was very easy to put together. Just like most t-shirts, you put the shoulder, you do the shoulder seams first, and then you did the neckband. Now, I did take out 2 inches for my neckband because if I hadn't, it would have looked pretty loose and floppy. So my neckband is 2 inches shorter, and it may differ if you make it depending on what kind of fabric you use. For this certain t-shirt, you attach the sleeves first before you do the side seams and the sleeve seam, which I think I like that better. I think that's even easier than putting in a set-in sleeve. So you do that, and then you just sew it up from the bottom all the way up and then down through the sleeve. So after you get that done, you just have to hem the bottom and hem the bottom of the sleeves. So I do agree with the reviewers on Style Art's website that this is basically true to size, but also that it is a little bit more fitted than what I think the picture looks like. Now, I think if you made it out of like the visco jersey, like the top I'm wearing, it is going to look more flowy, and I think it will look more like what it does on their picture. But I think the cotton spandex works out nicely for it. I like how it's slightly fitted right here, but it's kind of flowy on the sides and around the hip area. And I really like the neckline because it's a little bit more scooped out than this one, but it's not like super scooped out. It's sometimes you'll find t-shirt patterns and they're like down here, but then it seems like the other ones are like up here. So I really like this t-shirt pattern. Now I'm thinking about making this gym tee in a long sleeve version, and since it didn't come with its own long sleeve pattern, I think I can just kind of morph this sleeve and this sleeve together, and that will work perfectly. So here's the front and here's the back of the tee. So I'm really pleased with this tee. I just love this fabric. I think it's so cute. I love the bright colors. And I'm really glad I did the stripes going down the arm, because I think that looks so cute. And I know I'm going to be wearing this tee quite a bit this winter. So I think I will go try this one on for you. It looks pretty much like it does on my dress form, but I'll go try it on. So here's the Ellis tee on me. Fits just about like the mannequin. So, you know, it's got room through the midriff and through the hip area. So I took 1.5 inches off the sleeve, and I can pull them down to a little ways past my wrist. So I probably could have taken 2 whole inches off. It wouldn't make a big deal of difference. But I like my sleeves a little bit long. So I think it turned out really cute. I really like it. Now I think my shoulders look a little bit more fitted or maybe stiffer than what's in the picture, but I think that's just because their picture drawing is using a more flowy knit fabric than I did, and it'll probably look a little different after I wash it again. But I'm definitely pleased with this t-shirt, and I do plan to make it again. I'll probably make a short sleeve version next summer. I really like this neckline, but I haven't made any with a V-neck, so I may try that next time I make it. I probably won't make a boat neck. I don't really like boat necks. It seems like my bra strap always shows when I wear a boat neck, and maybe it's because my shoulders are a little bit narrower than average person. Maybe that's the problem. So I'm very happy with both the Style Arcs t-shirt patterns that I have so far. So I almost forgot that I was going to mention the other Style Arc patterns that I got on the sale. So on the sale they had buy 2 get the 3rd one free, which made each one of them 33% off. So for the other 2 patterns, I got one that's a knit pattern and one that's a woven. So the knit pattern that I got, I'm not sure how they pronounce this, but it's a knit cardigan, and it's S-A-S-K-I-A. So I don't know if that's sachet or Saskaya or whatever, but it's just a nice basic cardigan with kind of a high rounded neck, and it's buttons up the front, so it looks like it's kind of a medium hip length. Something that's basically always in style. You know, it's not extremely short, it's not extremely long. So it's got buttons, but I think it would work well with snaps too. And for fabrics, they say knit jerseys, cotton knit, merino wool knit, or stretch scuba. So that might be interesting in a stretch scuba knit. So that's the knit cardi pattern that I got, and I probably will try to make it this fall. And then for the woven pattern, I got a really pretty cute blouse top that's called the Verona Woven Top. I thought this was really pretty. I like the gathers around the neckline, and I always like raglan sleeves, and then they've just got elastic around the end. Now this top, I think you could easily shorten your sleeves or make them all the way full length. Another thing I like about this pattern besides the neckline and the sleeves is that it doesn't require a zipper or buttonholes. There is one button at the back of the neck, but it's got a little loop that you make for that button. Also, this blouse doesn't have any bust darts. I always like it when they don't have bust darts, because then I don't have to kind of make a partial toile and see if I want to raise or lower the bust darts, and it just makes things go quicker. So I was thinking about making this in either the rayon challis that I got from Minerva, or I had also gotten some cotton lawn from them. But the colors are kind of more summer springy. So I'll probably wait till maybe next spring to make the blouse. It looks like a good transition blouse with the longer sleeves. So when you make an order off of the Style Arc website, they also have a free pattern, or usually 2 free patterns of the month. So if you make an order and buy a pattern, then you get to select one of these free patterns. So usually I just select the pattern that I like the best. But for this month, I wasn't really crazy about either pattern. I think one of them was, like a cape that I would never wear. And then the other one is this Mary shift dress. So I couldn't pass up a free pattern, so I got the Mary shift dress. Now, when I first saw this pattern, I immediately thought of both of my grandmothers when I was young with their little house coat dresses or house dresses. I'd go over and they had these little cotton dresses that looked very similar to this pattern, except I think a lot of theirs would button all the way up or it would zip up, and when they would get up, they would put these over their little nightgowns or whatever to walk around the house or go out in the yard and do whatever they need to do in the yard. And my grandmother that lived closest to me, she would have it on, and then she'd usually change into something else in the afternoon, or if she didn't wear it out in public. But a lot of times in the summer, she would wear it mostly all day because it was really cool. So this dress pattern kind of reminded me of my grandmother's. I haven't looked at Instagram for this pattern, but you know, a lot of times you first see a pattern and you think, oh, I don't really like that. But then you'll see it on social media, different people making different versions of it, and then you might think, oh, it looks really cute. So I think I will work with this pattern in the future. I think you could modify this pattern easily and just cut it off and make just a top pattern out of it. If I did, I would probably shorten the length of the sleeves. I don't really like that longer length. For a top. On me, it'd probably come down to my elbows, but I think it would be cute if you shorten the sleeves and then cut it off for a top. But too, if you had some really cute fabric, then the dress would probably turn out cute. So I'm not writing it off altogether. I think I will try it sometime in the future. And it looks like it'd be very easy to make up. So that's the Mary Shift dress. If any of you have made any of these patterns that I've talked about, these last three, please let me know, and let me know what you thought about them, if they're true to size, if you liked the finished product, anything that would help me out when I make it in the future. So that does it for this video. I think my next video is going to be another gift idea video. Those seem to be very popular with my viewers. So I've been working on a few other little gifts and making up a list to talk to you about. And so I think you're going to really like them. I would say most of them are pretty quick gifts to make. And it's always nice if you're short of time to make something that's quick but cute. So if you enjoyed the video, I'd love for you to give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed already, I would love for you to hit that subscribe button. And until I see you in the next video, take care and happy sewing.